All right, so we're now going straight into the next session, which is a session about Pecha Kucha presentations on creative lighting. I'm going to invite Shailaja Baichu, my colleague from LUCI, to be the moderator. Is that right? That's what we said. For this next session. So, and what we'll do for this is each Pecha Kucha presenter will come up to the podium here, so we'll make sure to clean the microphone so you're safe and sound when you make your presentation.
Thank you, Jessica. So, hello everyone. My name is Shelja, and I'm a LUCI program manager. And thank you for being here. So, we start the Pecha Kucha sessions on creative lighting. These speed presentations are going to allow an exchange in the field of creative lighting. So, without further ado, let's hear from Light Festival organizers, artists, designers about creative lighting topics. First, we will go to meet Maya Al-Athel and Yasmin Sabri. Maya is artistic manager at Noor Riyadh Festival, and Yasmin Sabri is head of production and operations for the Noor Riyadh Festival. And they are going to talk about Noor Riyadh transforming a city into a gallery without walls. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here for this talk. We are really excited to present Noor Riyadh and all the incredible hard work we've all done to you. It's unfortunate we can't be there in person, but hopefully next year. My name is Yasmin Sabri, and I'm head of production and operations for Noor Riyadh. Noor Riyadh is an annual festival of contemporary art utilizing the medium of light.
Hi everybody, my name is Maya Al-Adel and I am the artistic manager at Noor Riyadh. Before we jump into the presentation, we just wanted to share a quick video of Noor Riyadh's inaugural festival that happened in March 2021. So we hope after that quick video, the artists were indeed able to send light into your hearts. Through Noor Riyadh, we inspire and aspire to invite international, regional and local artists to take part in making our dreams a reality.
Thank you. So this is our map for Noor Riyadh. We had 13 locations across the city and a group exhibition. We really tried to spread out as much as possible so that we reach a bigger demographic and really touch as many people as possible with this festival. This is a bit of our statistics. So we had 63 artists in total. 30 were in the group exhibition in CAFT, and 33 were large-scale installations around the city. We had 3 art collectives from 23 nationalities, 3 design studios. 63% of the artists were ranked in top global 500. 59% of the Saudi artists were in the top 50. So that's something we're very proud of. We're very proud of also having 36% Saudi artists. So these are very young and up and coming artists, as well as more established artists, and invited them to be in this festival.
And here's just a quick snapshot of a number of the artists, as I'm sure you guys would be able to tell a few of them by their faces, of the artists that participated in our inaugural edition. As we mentioned, we tried to hit local, international, and regional artists, and we're very proud of what had happened thus far.
So we had a lot of great artworks, and we were able to achieve two Guinness World Records. Naturally, all the works were incredible, and we're all very happy for them. But Carolina Halitic had the largest LED structure, consisting of 272,000 LEDs. And so this was really incredible to be able to have that in the festival and have people enjoy the beacon. Another artwork that got a Guinness World Record was this huge artwork by Kurt Vermeulen, which is called Star in Motion. Star in Motion was suspended in the middle of the Kingdom Tower. So that was incredible to basically install, but also to see from all over the city. The Star in Motion won the Guinness World Record for the world's brightest suspended ornament with 1.2 million lumens. So I'm sure you guys are all nerds like us about lights and installing challenging artworks. So this was definitely the cherry on top.
So our aim through Noor Riyadh was to reach a wider variety of audiences, utilizing a number of different artwork types to engage and educate. Some key highlights are large-scale audiovisual installations, such as the one you see here by Christopher Bowders, scholar, Daniel Kanagar's Bifurcation, which was a generative artwork that was presented onto one of the towers in the King Abdullah Financial District. Saeed Qamhawi, My Mother's Rug, which was an experiential artwork that called in audiences to come and engage with the artwork, which was very beautiful. And we saw a number of different people from a number of different demographics, from younger children to older people, just coming in and engaging with the artwork, which was very beautiful. We also did include some architectural interventions, such as the one that you see here by Daniel Buren, which was developed on the Zaha Hadid building at the King Abdullah Financial District. Along with that, there were also multi-sensory installations, such as Aman Jassim's When the Moon is Full. So that was in terms of the citywide festival. We also did have an accompanying exhibition, which was a retrospective of light art from the 1960s till present day. And some of the key highlights there were iconic installations such as Yayoi Kusama's Infinity Room. There were also ephemeral artworks by Urs Fischer, which was very beautiful to see because the day it installed, it would no longer be the same afterwards. And by the end of the exhibition, the artwork ceased to exist anymore. We also had immersive installations. This one in particular is by a Saudi artist named Lulu Al Hamoud, The Infinite Blue, which also did call in audiences to kind of immerse themselves in this huge space with these blue LED lights. There were also kinetic artworks. This one in particular is by another Saudi artist named Rashid Al-Shashai, Searching for Darkness, which was a trip in of itself. You walk into the room and you're transported into another dimension. And last but definitely not least, there were spatial installations as well, such as the one that you see here by Lucio Fontana. And yes, thank you.
So this is a little bit of our comparison between the first edition, which was this year in March, and what we are intending for 2022 and 2023. So naturally, being first edition, we really were keen on having the 3-month exhibition. So it's kind of the retrospective exhibition gives a foundation for this festival moving on. So it's kind of an education to the general public, as well as a treat for all the artists that are included and all the people that care about art. So for this year, we had 63 artworks. Next year, we're hoping to have over 100 artworks in over 40 locations. In the first edition, we had 2 hubs. Next year, we're going to have 4 hubs. The hubs are like a group of artworks together with some music, some F&B, so a bit more festival vibes. Something else we're really excited about is our programming. So unfortunately in March, due to Corona and all the restrictions and also personal decisions to be safe and make sure everyone's safe, we limited the in-person programming, and we had a lot of online programming, but we're excited to have in-person programming for next year. So we're planning over 500 activities, 100 workshops and talks, as well as like kids zones, so all the children can come learn about art, feel like artists. We also have great programs, internship programs. So we teach the younger generation how to manage exhibitions, how to build exhibitions, how to work with light art and artists. So this is really important for us. So we're not a parachute festival, but rather a festival that is building concrete foundations in the city of Riyadh and in Saudi in general. This is just a small little bit about our festival. We hope you guys enjoyed the images, and we're really hoping that you guys can come visit us in November next year, and hopefully we can build lasting partnerships with all of you.
And last but not least, a shout out to artists who are viewing this today. We are looking for artists who work with light as a medium, and we would love to consider your proposals to Noor Riyadh. Thank you.
If anyone has any question, I think we have questions. I think we have a few more minutes, so we'd be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the audience? Yes, one.
Hello, thank you. I'm Rick van Stiphout from the City of Eindhoven. I'm wondering how the overall budget looks like. It must be huge.
What is the overall budget? The overall budget. So Noor Riyadh is under a program called Riyadh Art. Riyadh Art has 12 programs that involve like transforming Riyadh into a greener, more livable city. And so the artworks and Noor Riyadh falls under this program. And so we are very lucky and very blessed that it is backed by the government, which allows us the flexibility to bring in and collaborate with partners and develop artworks. So we had a lot of commissions, which is something we're very blessed to have.
Thank you very much for this polite answer.
This politically correct answer.
Very diplomatic.
Very diplomatic.
We'll have a secret meeting where you can tell us the answer.
Yes, we'll have this offline.
Actually, I can maybe, as LUCI members, perhaps you two can talk outside of this, and these are the kinds of discussions that LUCI members can have together offline.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Any other questions in the audience? No? Okay. Thank you
Great,
so much.
we're so happy we were so concise. Thank you very much for having us. It was great being part of this, and hopefully we can continue having partnerships and meet in person, inshallah.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Yasmin.
Thank you.
And the next presentation is going to be on Lapin dans la Lune. Maybe some of you have already had the chance to go visit this beautiful place of Terreau, Place de Terreau in Lyon. And we have also this chance to have Renato Gonzalez coming from Mexico to join us and to present. I will first sanitize. Stage is yours. Yes, clicker is.
Good morning. Try to speak English very well because 2 years here, my brain in French. Now it's like mixing everything. Good morning, I am Renato Gonzalez. I'm here to present the Rabbit in the Moon. It's presented in La Place de Terreau, à Lyon, à la Fête des Lumières. I don't know if you see it, but it's in the city now. If you don't, please come on. Well, the team, we are, well, Renato, it's me. Sarah Matriguer, the writer. Sarah is a dancer, choreographer, an artist in interdisciplinary. She working in translation and adaptation of this story. This story is from Mexico. It's a Mesoamerican history. He make this. The compositor is Gaston Artigas from Argentine. He is a bit in Mexico City, but he's from Argentine. I'm working with other musicians in distance because in pandemic the situation is a little bit complicated. So it release a composition in really beautiful way to work in distance in this moment. Well, we are. Sorry, I am very nervous and shaky. Yeah. I am an artist in interdisciplinary. I start like a dancer, choreographer, but always I go down to the stage and go to the technicians and asking what is happening, everything. I am very interested in the video projection. In the base, I am informatician when I am a child. I start to coding. After that, I go to the visual arts, music, after dance, choreography, and my first choreographers or exercise of choreography, I'm start to building video mappings, mapping LED, interacting with the dancers. I'm very interested with the body motions and the relation in the space, the spectrum, the light with the bodies. And after that, we make it a performance also in the streets. We are start to experimenting in performance with video mapping in the buildings and dancers. While La Fête des Lumières, well, I'm start with the choreography and I start to make a lot of work in the stage, in the theaters, for festivals of arts events. When I make it more and more visual arts, I start to discover all festivals and the good places to show my work. One of them is La Fête des Lumières, of course, is one of my goals, and is very known, and also in Mexico, it's very famous. La Place de Terreau is a great challenge for me. It's awesome. Well, the Rabbit in the Moon. Why? When I'm come here to the first time to know how it's about the La Fête des Lumières, because I very interesting and go deeply in the projects, how is going on, what is happening with the people, what is also my works in choreography is about some society issues or very social themes. So always I like to go deeply in some way to to found what's happening in that region, when in that country or culture. So I discovered the significance, la brève significance de la Fête des Lumières, que c'est remercie, say thank you a la María por la recuperación de la peste. In English, sorry. So, en la idiosincrasia de México, the relation of between death, life, or the night and day is very special. We thinking like the night and day is like a times. Difficult times is like a night. The beautiful times is like a day. So for now, for example, for the Mayas, is the difficult times, is the moments of the night. In that moment, I thinking, well, in the night, what is the light in the night? The moon. So what history is in Mexico very typical, is talking about the moon. So I remember my grandmother talking about that, the rabbit in the moon. It's a history talking about altruism, the solidarity, life and death. Well, I don't go more deeply in that, but I want to explain that because it's important. The style. Well, the style is where I come from. With the team, we have the story, and in dramaturgy, it's okay. We have what is coming, what is the climax, what is the end. But we need something original, and in the same time, in my life, when I say I like to go deeply in the society to discover, I have experience with this tribe, and in that moment, I identify with them. So I like to put that style of art in this piece because all colors with the pearls, is very interesting of all the kush or layers. This is Wiraricas. This tribe is from the Pacific side of Mexico. Well, La Place de Terreau, when I have the history, the style, we are not very sure about what is the place, because we have a strong history, and I make the tour in the city, looking, and talking with Sarah, is with me, talking about what is the best place for this history to the public, to show everything in detail. So, when it's the first time we are in the Place de Terreau, we say, "Oh, this is magnifique, it's huge. It's a challenge." And then try to go another place and maybe here, maybe there. But after this, no, Sarah pushed me and said, "Yes, you can do that." Well, it's a good place for a great history. It's important for the process because, well, when I go to the process and show you and talking more about that. Process creation. The process creation is where I start to drawing everything on hand, And after that, I scanning, and after vectorized, make a palette of colors, solid colors. And after, I go to make all the pencils and vectors in Illustrator. Put all the lines in these pencils. This is patterns also, and try to make a process of different, not like an algorithm, but my process, with I am an informatician, I make a methodology like a discrimination for what is going on. And the last process like animation 2D, 3D, After Effects, and some others in 3D. And also, well, the last part is all these elements, ambience, individual elements, how is make the composition in the building. So it's important to say, like, maybe the conception, the history is once in the storyboard, but when is the moment to arrive to make in the building with the place is need to be enrich and know the place. The text or the adaptation. Sarah make the adaptation in different levels, because not only the language, it's also about the because the original story is very tiny in some way, using some maybe it's very directly say something about that, and very strongly, but for Mexico, the relation in between life and death is only like a passage. You really, for the Mayas, Toltec, Aztecs, is no end, is not finished. It's continued. Maybe you're dead, but you're reborn in an animal or plant or nature or something more. So we need to make an introduction, talking more about Quetzalcoatl. Who is Quetzalcoatl? Where it's come from? Why is come to the planet to see the nature of the world or the humans? How is the possibility to mantener the innocence of the lapin, the innocence of the rabbit, in relation with the God? That is important. And what other thing is in the adaptation, I think so, is in the moment with the conversations. So that's the other step of the project. The music is, I think so, is other aspect of this project is reflecting in this moment of the pandemic. How is the artist make everything for try to survive and make projects, because the compositor working via Zoom with other musicians in Argentina, Ecuador, in Mexico, to make the composition and make recordings, send the music, send the samplers. After that, he make the whole composition. Well, this is the Rabbit in the Moon. We invite you to join us to see in the Place de Terre. Thank you so much. I hope my English is well. If you have some questions, it's okay. Thank you.
Questions from the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for this. I want to see it tonight. How difficult is it to mapping this on the this building, and could you do that in other part of the world easily, or it's a lot of work to remap or to recalibrate the work?
For make the mapping
Yeah.
technical way, the software is smooth. Is make with the video projections is 4K, 4K, a video projection high resolution, and is I think so 1, 2, 3, it's like 14 video projectors for all the facade. In the calibration is with lasers. It's like, and actually with sometimes it's mirror. And well, it's that I don't know. I am going to more deeply with that, but I don't make the that.
Okay. And is it easy to duplicate in other part of the world or on
Yeah.
another building?
It's duplicate. It's duplicate because, for example, in this place, well, like for example, the building of the museum, the texture of the rock is more brown, like a different of the hotel building. So it needs to be compensated in some ways. So this is one of the situations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Renato. So after the moon outside, we will go to see the rabbit on the moon at Place de Terreau. And next presentation comes from Claudio Caccioli on Farnesina Digital Art Experience. Thank you for being here. Claudio is the founder and creative director of the Bright Festival from Italy.
Sorry.
Okay, all right. So basically we are two. Claudio is the Bright Festival founder and owner, and I'm the artistic director of the project. And well, we will start talking about that a little bit, so you will see the presentation before. That's it, okay? So basically what we did 3 years ago, before the pandemic, unfortunately, but I would say that pandemic has been a great opportunity for us to settle down a little bit and thinking about what we are doing with what we were doing in the last 20 years. That was basically working, and not thinking about, let's stop a little bit and let's try to meet each other and try to make a community about digital art in Italy. So we went in 2019 to the Foreign Ministry of the government, the Italian government, to try to make a project about digital art. As you know, Italy is very famous for the history. So anybody knows the Romance and the Renaissance, and the food, furniture, fashion. So we are very, very well known for this kind of issue that anybody knows about us. But basically, the digital art was not pushed. Nobody was really knowing the artist behind it. There's no the long tradition that you have here in Lyon about, you know, the Light Festival, where you really push the artists, also the name of the artists that are behind the technology. So in the past 20 years, I lead on my skin too, and with my friends, the problem of the communication was just about the technology, the effect, the technology, the digital world, and blah, 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 and not the man and the artist behind it. So this was basically the idea that we want to push with the ministry. Claudio, you can go with the...
Yeah, and this was the idea that Stefano and us presented to the Italian ministry, and it was very welcome. So we started in 2019 with the first project, and it was like the inauguration of the project was in Rome, and we started collecting some artists from our countries. They actually were all high-skilled and talented in the digital arts, and they asked them to create some projects on video mapping and on immersive art experience that actually are two different language that actually came in the last year. Okay, it's like a bit slow, but I will go on. And so in 2019, we started at the Farnesina, that is actually the building of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And we asked to the artists, they are 14 actually, to create a collective artwork to be projected on the facade. So they all created an artwork that has been projected on the facade. And this was like the inauguration of the project, and it was in Rome. Now we can show like a shortcut of the video.
Yeah, wait a second. Just to say, this is the focus, as I told before. For the first time, we said, okay, this is not just technology. We are using the same technology, which means projectors and mapping on a building. But if you see the 14 different artists, they will do 14 different artworks. So focus your communication and your, idea of understanding the mapping, not trying to say how many projectors, how many power, how many pixels, how many, which was like the communication in the last 20 years. But let's focus on the storytelling and the artist style. So because this is just a canvas. It's art. It's any kind of canvas you can use with the digital. Any artist will do a different work of art. And it was not easy in the last years to make people understanding this point. That was like, okay, how many projectors, or people calling me from New York, oh, I'm watching something that must be you. But why? Because there is a projection. No, it's not just that. So you already had this passing, you already passed probably in your countries this problem. We didn't in Italy. And that's why now the government discovered that there is really something behind it, and they are really pushing this project. Let's see, so these are the team we called from around Italy. It was really very interesting to meet them for the first time, because since that moment we were making a battle for budget, or we were in competition to make some light festival. Since that day, we are friends. So we decided to be friends, to work just to push up the market or the opportunity altogether, and not to be in competition, because there is no competition between artists. It's not about competition. It's about try people to understand that if they like your style, they will buy your style, not the technology that you use to create a video mapping. Let's see 1 minute video, just 1 minute, because it's very long. It's like backstage, so you will see this was the first step, a classic video mapping on this huge building, which is the Farnesina building. If you can go with the first video, yeah. And as you see in the backstage video, we had to say what is video mapping, and we try to make also like a description of the technique. So we made this weekend night with the government members and the ministry and the population that was invited to see the exhibition, and we had 4,000 people watching that night the video mapping. It's okay, you can stop. So this is, well, you know very well the video mapping, but what was interesting is like to see any different artist, 2 minutes, different style, different language, different poetic. I mean, the focus was on the artists themselves.
Yes, and then after Rome, we started traveling with these artworks, so trying to export their creativity, their talents, even in other countries. So we started from Leipzig in Germany, where there's at the moment, the first digital art center in Europe, because it was born in 2016, even
2 years before the Atelier de Lumière.
Exactly, and it's still now the only one in Germany. And they are all, it's like an old power plant that is entirely dedicated to multimedia and digital art activities, installations, and shows. And we started here because they have a pretty big room, immersive art room, and we asked the artists to create a new collective artwork, but using this new language that actually is the immersive art experience. So as you can see, people are not in front of the artwork as in the video mapping, but they are inside the artwork. So they are totally surrounded by projections on the floor, on the walls and on the floor as well. And here we can show maybe another minute of what happened in Leipzig. And even there, each one created a personal artwork, but all together they gave an overview on the style and techniques that actually are now used in the digital art or immersive art experience.
Let's play the video when you're ready. Again, we try to explain which is the format. I mean, it's digital art. We use the same tools, same kind of animation, same artist. It's not mapping. I mean, it's mapped on the place. But it's more language, more similar to the immersive art, which is now very famous thanks to the great success of Atelier de Lumière and all the cultural space places that you know. And this is really like, I mean, the project is also not just to push the Italians. The project, our project is like to try to create a connection in between digital artists of all countries. Because we started with Italy, we are here talking about Italy for sure, because we are pushing it also in Lyon. But this year with the BIBI Festival, we did the Germans, like best of German artists, because we were in Leipzig. And so we had 10 studios from Germany doing the show. And we hope, and maybe we are here also to ask you, why don't we do like that any country should try to do what we did? It was a very good case history for anybody. Go to the government and say, oh, come on, there are digital artists, why don't you push them? Why don't you help us to make a community so they can work together? Because the future, you will know. It's done? No, we have time. Okay. In the future, no, no time anymore. Okay. So let's go just skip up to the end just to show 1 second. Thank you for the video again. Just to show what we have here in Lyon, which is, we are doing 3 cities this period. Lyon, we started yesterday, and we are going to the end of Lyon. Buenos Aires tonight, and Madrid the next week, with the artists divided into different places. With the support of the government. I mean, they have many places around the world so they can help us for this. And we have we decided to choose these 3 artists for the Temple du Change. You will see, you can go in the city and see their work. And light sculpture we did in the
courtyard of the Musica d'Angelo.
So you are welcome to see the installation, and any question, welcome.
Thank you.
Step into the light.
Yeah.
Because the cameras couldn't catch you, you were hiding.
I wanted to stay in the shadow, I know.
Any questions in the audience? No questions. Oh yes, there's a question. It's still right?
Okay.
It's a whole new choreography.
Hello, very good initiative. What's your organization? You are an association? You are related to festival? Or?
No, I'm an artist. I'm doing this kind of work since years. And I met him in 2018, and we decided to make like a project, a Bright Festival. I mean, a project of festival about this kind of digital arts in Florence. And when we met, we did the first edition of the Bright Festival, which was a huge success in Florence in 2018. And then we decided we made a good team to go to the ministry and say, let's go and let's promote it. Let's try to make the step anybody needs, I think. I mean, to have the government behind it can help them for this real, the point of support artists, because any artist is supported by the government in some ways. I mean, to go around, I don't know, the Spanish, they have the Instituto Cervantes, the Goethe Institute, the German, and they normally spread traditional kind of art around the world. Any country does it. So ballet, poetry, actors, any kind. Not really the digital. Because they don't know. They know it's technology doing it. I mean, so we went there, we say, hey, we are people. I mean, okay, so we go to the restaurant. Come on, let's go to the restaurant and talk about that. And so we were in Rome. We invited all the people from around Italy. I mean, from Sicily, from the north of Italy. Many people that we just know because we saw the work they were doing in their places, in their squares, in their festivals, and we put them all together. 14 studio, but there are like 32 people. And we are going to grow a little bit. I mean, this was just the beginning. I want to have like 20, 25. And this is just the idea is that any government does it. Why don't anybody go to the government, and why don't we try to make this kind of community? Because as you may know, places like Atelier de Lumières, they're growing a lot. Anyone want to do something like that? Maybe not that successful, something interesting like in Leipzig. And they will need artists. They don't know yet. They just want to buy projectors and project something at the beginning, but they don't know there is someone that should do it. I mean, it's like the cinema, it's like the movies. It's like, in the 20th century at the beginning, when the cinema started to become a business, Hollywood decided to make the studios, to call the actors, to call the protagonists of that kind of art. And I think we are in this point now. There will be a lot of places like this, and there will be no artists doing it, or well-known artists, or artists that had the opportunity to make this kind of rehearsal, because any project is like pioneering something. It's new. You never know what happens. You really never know what happens, especially in immersive art, which is like that will have a big evolution in terms of content and style. And so it will be very interesting if really there will be a community talking about that, and that the work that you can make for Paris, you can make little bit some adjustment for other places around the world. And that will be like for the market, very important, because a producer could be like, if you spread in 5 places the same work, no one should pay a lot of money to have it, but you can divide the work into 5 places, and so the price for each places will be less. This is what we are trying to do. Well, we are going to do it. I mean, if we will see in 2 years, I will say, okay, we did it. I'm sure we are doing it. I'm sure we're doing it.
Thank you. Thank you, Stefano, Claudio. Yes, of course, we have the cocktail to have the moment to share more and discuss also a coffee break just after. And as we have time running by, so we will pursue the Pecha Kuchas. Thank you very much. So we continue with Raphaël Giroir, who is going to talk about plays around organogame. Raphaël is a landscape architect and lighting designer from Radiance 35 de Marseille. Thank you.
Bonsoir à tous. Hi everyone. First of all, sorry for my I think I may have lost my voice in the streets of Lyon yesterday night. Looking forward to, if you find some, please give me. Maybe I speak French normally with my normal voice. If I find it again, if I find it back, I may have French again. So it's gonna be a little game with the translators. Be ready. Okay. Play. Beginning with a little joke. Nighttime is not good for children, but for everybody to become a child again. The little joke, just to introduce the little story about a colossus. A colossus made of stone, created by a brilliant witch, which is Danielle Jacqui. Maybe some of you may know her. She's, internationally renowned as a pioneer of the singular arts, which can be, it's really close to the art brut. And it's a really peculiar person, really creative and really genius. And many years ago, many years ago, Danielle Jacqui is now 87 years old, and she's still working a lot. The picture that you see here is inside her home. I had the chance to visit her home, and you may even not walk through all her creations. She's always creating. And during more than 10 years, she produced ceramics for a gigantic project. It's a house here. A gigantic project for the facade of the Aubagne train station. It's a little city in the south of France. And it was hundreds of colorful pieces. And at the end, it was like 36 tons of ceramics. But the project failed at the end, in a way of a political ending. And they thanked her, and the creation was lost for almost a year, until the Ferme des Tilleuls, which is an artistic organization in Renan near Lausanne in Switzerland, opened its doors and cleared a huge space outdoor to welcome the monstrous creation, Organugam. It's the name, and it's a real, it's a name, c'est un vrai prénom, it's a first name. The artist, Danielle Jacqui, insists on this. It's a kind of son of creation, like a really, it's organic for her. So they created a volume, quite complex, which is like 13 meters high and 45 long, who could receive something which was invented and designed at the beginning to be plain on a facade. So it was like give a shape, a volume shape, a 3D shape to something which was plain at the beginning. So this is the structure like 6 or 7 months ago. And in front of the structure, there is a urban project with a tramway behind the trees. So the trees is gonna be cut. And on the opposite side, you can see a lot of people living there. And they are going to see every day the new structure in front of the Ferme des Tilleuls. And it's going to be growing until, for a year now. It's a really long work, especially because Danielle Jacqui is still working there. Every month, almost, she's going there. And she's adapting her creation to this really particular structure. And so it's a long work of patience too. because she can change her mind a day from another, so you got to be really constructive. So the first, I have to mention that Femme de Tilleul asked for artists to create a kind of light costume for the creation, for organogram. And we hesitated quite a long time because it's a really special structure, really complex. And it was not so easy for us to know how to manage the mission. But we proposed, in front of such a structure, we offered to initiate a participative method that we often do, to get some human material to involve, first of all the people living in front of the structure, knowing this really particular giant. So it began the 1st of October with this kind of wizard with fire, playing with fire, who showed the organogram to the people through his game of fire. So it doesn't work anymore. Yeah. So DJ is Daniel Jacqui. It was really important that, in a way, she was present during the show. It was a light show with fire during 20 minutes. And the people could see some parts of the artwork thanks to the fire. So the first activity that we proposed was to discover, but just with torches. So there was like 30 participants that we selected because it was the maximum that we could have. There was like almost 100 person attending the presentation of the artwork. And so the idea was to discover, but with just torches, to discover some parts. And we asked the participants to find some tails pieces. I mean, what pieces they could find on the artwork that we could use to create a new tale, a new story. So everybody of all ages, were involved in this searching. And already it's like, it created some interesting moves, lighting moves around the organogram. Then the second activity was about to test, play, and with different materials. We had like a tools, a big kit tools that everybody could use with different stuff and colors and different kind of lights that we tested with them together, teaching them how to play and manipulate lights. So the idea was to feed the story that each group, there was like 5 groups, each group was about to create and develop and present at the end. Of the process of creating, and at the end, the main goal was to stage and present each story. So each group could, it was at the end different stories, 5 really different stories, but with common elements that we could analyze and use the day after. They used materials, a lot of materials, metal, water, and mirrors to play with the organogram and stage their story. There is, and already we had like some interesting results in contrast with playing with contrast between the different kind of colors or different kind of whites that inspired us after that to develop a new concept. You won't see the concept tonight. You'll only see the process. I come back maybe next year. There is a video, I don't know if... No, you don't?
Si fort que la garnison qui garde la ville s'est réveillée.
These are the final presentations.
Ça a brûlé longtemps, mais la ville a été bien défendue.
Attention, censuré pour les enfants de moins de 8 ans.
Plongé dans la nuit, noir, et en battant comme sa force et de s'ouvrir. Une personne joyeuse, une personne pour partager des moments de plaisir.
Ce changement passe d'abord par le dragon dinosaure bleu, par toutes les formes de fleurs. Nous appelons ça le bagage transformation.
Of course, as you can see, it's not really technological. I mean, in comparison with the projects before, which was really impressive. I mean, the idea is, in this case, to use like materials really easy to manipulate and to be appropriated by the people. The idea is that, I mean, almost the people can still play in their house, thinking about the artwork they just saw. And obviously that's to make the artwork a little bit for themselves too. It's a bit piece of them. So we don't want technology in that case. Maybe later for the project, but that's the same process than the day after. The day after is to make some, during the night we printed some pictures from the night before. And we use them to just focus on different elements and characters that showed up during the night, which are on the left in French, I'm sorry. So with the participants and children particularly, we create new stories with the same characters we used the night before. And we write it down first and trying to follow the sequences of a tale. And then again, because it was not the same attendance that the night before, we draw, we create, and we test light with simple effects and with the same tool that the night before, with the same purpose. So they can draw and really simply try to make the effects and play with this. And again, okay, on different papers and really simple effects that we can use to illustrate different stories they are building up. I mean, really simple, but trying to stay creative with scholar tools. I mean, this is only papers and scissors and focals that you can find in any library. And yes, that's it. I presented at the end. They are still tasting in this at this moment, and yeah, at the end we didn't know anymore who were the kids or not. I mean, the person with the white hair here is the director, which is who is paying for all the project. I mean, he's deciding at the end, and he was like really like a kid, like playing, inventing stories about frogs and. So at the end, they were presenting their results in a really simply and artisanal way. And there is also a little video of 1 minute showing an extract of this presentation, if you have it.
L'histoire d'un immense bateau bleu qui bâtiment, en fait, il est plus grand que le pirate parce qu'il a bu une potion magique par la reine de France.
So it's a story of a blue boat, and here is the French queen. And so the good-hearted diva protected the boat. He's got green eyes because he's had a lot of vegetables. Unfortunately, due to the sound quality, the interpreters have a hard time interpreting. I'm sorry.
They're giving birth to something that we don't know yet. It's still under gestation, as we say, because maybe next year, you'll see the results. But it was really fun to do this process, and mostly it was really inspiring for us. It may be not so clear as I present it like this, but we now have a great material for us to build up a project and a concept of enlightening the whole structure. Thank you.
Thank you, Raphael. So stay here for all the questions. We can take one question if you have. Thank you. Don't be shy for just one question. We have just 1 minute. So it was very clear. I think everyone has understood. Thank you very much, Raphael.